All right, if you're running a business, you have probably waded into the alphabet soup of business software, right? ERP, CRM, you've got all these acronyms flying at you, you have different vendors telling you different things, and it gets confusing fast. So today, we're going to cut through all that noise, we're going to give you a super clear way to figure out which one is right for you.
Does this sound familiar? You've got a consultant telling you, oh, you definitely need an ERP. Then a sales vendor comes along and insists, no, you got to start with a CRM. Meanwhile, your accountant is just saying, can we please just upgrade the accounting software? It's super frustrating, and you're left just scratching your head, wondering what these things even do.
And that is the big question we are going to answer right now. We're going to cut through the jargon, break down exactly what each of these tools is, who it's for, and give you a clear path to figure out what your business actually needs today.
Okay, let's start at the very beginning, where pretty much every business journey begins. Before you do anything else, you gotta have a way to manage your money. I mean, this is the absolute foundation of your entire operation, and that's where accounting software comes into the picture.
The easiest way to think about it is as your digital bookkeeper. And it's not just for taxes at the end of the year. No, it's about having a real-time pulse on the financial health of your company. At its heart, the job is simple, but it's also absolutely critical. Just follow the money.
So what are we talking about here? Well, it covers all the essentials. You're creating professional invoices, you're tracking every single expense, you're matching your books to your bank statements, reconciliation, and you're generating those all-important financial reports, like your P&L. Some of them can even handle some very basic inventory tracking.
So who is this really for? Well, it's the sweet spot for service businesses. Think a design agency, a consulting firm, or really any small company with, say, 1 to 10 employees and pretty straightforward product sales. For a lot of businesses, this is all you need. It's powerful, but it's focused.
But here are the red flags. Here's how you know you're starting to outgrow it. It is not built to manage your sales team's pipeline of deals. It's going to fall over if you try to handle inventory across multiple warehouses, and there's no way it can help you plan a manufacturing or production schedule. When you start feeling these pains, that's a huge sign your business is getting more complex.
And you know, that complexity, it almost always starts with sales. Once you have a real sales team, your biggest challenge isn't just tracking the money that's come in. It's tracking all the potential money, the leads, and the opportunities. So let's talk about the next tool in the arsenal, the CRM. Now, CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management, which is, a bit of a mouthful. A much better way to think of it is as your sales process manager. Its entire reason for existing is to make sure that from the very first moment a potential customer shows interest to the moment you close that deal, nothing and no one falls through the crack. A good CRM basically gives your sales team superpowers. They can see every single lead laid out in a visual pipeline. They can track every email, every call, every meeting with a contact. And for management, you get a clear forecast of what revenue is likely to come in. It just organizes the natural chaos of a sales cycle. So how do you know if you need one? Well, the signs are usually pretty clear. If you've got a sales team of 3 or more people, if your sales cycle takes weeks or even months, and if you're basically guessing at your monthly revenue projections, yeah, it's probably time for CRM. It gives you that visibility you're desperately missing.
But here's the thing. A CRM, as great as it is, creates a brand new challenge. It's fantastic for managing that front-end sales process, but it totally ignores your back-end operations. It's not doing your financials, it's not managing your inventory, and it's not planning production. And this leads to a very, very common problem.
And this right here illustrates that problem perfectly. Your salesperson closes a big deal in the CRM. Awesome. But what happens next? Your accountant has to take all that information and manually type it all over again and do the accounting software just to create an invoice. This double entry, it's slow, it's inefficient, and honestly, it's just asking for mistakes to happen. So, when the pain of juggling multiple disconnected systems gets bigger than the benefits they provide, that's when it's time to look at the final category. This is the big one, the integrated all-in-one solution we call an ERP.
So what is an ERP? Well, Enterprise Resource Planning, but forget the name. The one word you need to remember is integration. It takes all the major parts of your business, your finance, sales, your inventory, manufacturing, HR, all of it, and combines them into one single unified system that runs on one central database. That means everyone is working from the same information.
An ERP has everything we've already talked about, all the accounting functions, all the CRM functions, but then it bolts on this whole other layer of serious operational power. Now we're talking about advanced inventory management across multiple sites, detailed manufacturing and production planning, purchasing and supplier management, HR, payroll, the whole shebang, plus business intelligence that sees across the entire company.
So who needs this? Well, an ERP is really for businesses where operational complexity is the #1 challenge. If you're a manufacturer or a distributor with multiple warehouses, or really any company that feels like it's being held together by duct tape and spreadsheets and manual data entry between 3, 4, or 5 different systems, you are the prime candidate for an ERP.
Okay, we've defined the tools. Now let's get really practical. We're going to map out the typical journey a business takes with its software, so you can see exactly where you are on that map and what your next logical step probably is.
This timeline shows a super common path. Almost everyone starts with spreadsheets, right? Then, as you grow to maybe 5 to 15 employees, you get a proper accounting software package. Next, as the sales team gets bigger, you bolt on a CRM. And then finally, when the pain of those disconnected systems just gets to be too much, usually around that 30-plus employee mark, that's when you make the leap to a fully integrated ERP. Just take a look. Where do you see your business on this map?
And this chart, this is the ultimate cheat sheet. It lays it all out, side by side. You can see the differences so clearly. Look at financial management. Accounting and ERP get a big green check, but a CRM, nothing. For sales pipeline, CRM and ERP are the winners. But then you get to something like manufacturing, and look at that. Only an ERP gets the check mark. It just makes the unique strengths of each system crystal clear.
All right, let's make this even more personal. Just ask yourself these 5 simple questions. How many employees do you have? What's your business model? Are you selling services or complex products? How complex is your sales process? How complex is your inventory? And then, number 5, and this is the big one, are you struggling to manage 3 or more disconnected systems? If your answer to that last one is a painful yes, that is a huge sign you should probably be looking at an ERP.
And this really brings us to the most important point of this whole thing. It is so tempting to buy the big, fancy system for the company you hope to be in 10 years. Don't do that. Choose the tool that solves the biggest, most painful problems you have right now. A simple accounting package for a 10-person service firm isn't less sophisticated. It's the right choice. It's the smart choice.
So I'll leave you with this one last thought to chew on. Forget the acronyms, forget the sales pitches for just a second, and ask yourself this. What is the single biggest operational bottleneck? The #1 pain point in my business right now? The answer to that question, that's going to tell you exactly where you need to start.